Today I'm going to discuss about Kubernetes Network Policy. So I'm planning more video related to Kubernetes Network Policy. So this is my second video. I already uploaded one video. You can check my playlist, Kubernetes playlist. So coming to the network policy, so this is a security mechanism in Kubernetes, and you can control the outbound and inbound traffic of Kubernetes pods. So in this demo, I'm going to control the egress. That means outbound connection of ports. Okay, so in this case you can see I'm only allowing outbound connection to the to particular IP or IP block with the particular port number. So let's consider you have a data center. This is your private data center, you can consider. Okay, and then you have a cluster, you have a Kubernetes cluster. And coming to the Kubernetes cluster, we have multiple namespace. You can consider this is a namespace A, and this is a namespace B, and this namespace C. Okay, so inside the namespace A you have a set of ports or port. Okay, that port only need to communicate with the data center. Apart from that, no one need to communicate with this data center. So that we can do by using network policy. You can create a network policy, and you can attach that network policy to the port. So how we can attach network policy to the port? So that is basically happening through match label. So sorry, one second. Yeah, that is happening through match label. So here you can see app client. That means uh, uh, ports who has that label, match app client label, that ports is uh, is part of the network policy. So that port can communicate with this IP with this port. Okay, so this is a use case, I would say. So apart from this port, whatever the other ports in this namespace can't not part of the network policy. Okay, so actually I don't have a data center. That so in this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the second namespace, and inside this namespace I'm going to create a port. And then by default we have a, default namespace, right? So I'm considering that that is a namespace A, and inside there I'm going to create a port, and then I'm creating a network policy and attaching the network policy to the port. The what is the network policy is do is this port can only communicate with this port. So I will give the IP of this port in the network policy. So only this port can communicate with this port. So that I'm going to do. So after that maybe I can create another port. So we'll try like this port can communicate with this port. Okay, so for that I'm just going to the Kubernetes cluster. Actually I already created the Kubernetes cluster. This is a microcad cluster. So we can check the uh, no nodes. Here you can see, sorry, here you can see we have one node. On what about ports? We don't have any ports. And we can see the namespace. We have default namespace. So in this demo what we are planning is we are planning going to create a port and namespace in this default namespace, and we'll create another namespace, and inside there we'll create new node. Okay, so for that first I'm creating namespace. Create as nsb. Okay, namespace is created. So we'll check the status. Here you can see new namespace is added. Okay, next what we can do is we can create a uh, pod with this label I already mentioned. Coming to the network policy, so here this network policy is attaching to this ports lab, means who has this label. So we are attaching this name network policy to this port. Okay, so that's why I'm creating the port with the uh, app client label. Okay, so this should be in the default namespace. This should be in the default namespace, right? So I'm creating. Okay, you can check the status. Here you can see it's created the client. It's in the default namespace. Okay, next what we can do is we can create another port in new namespace, right? So we can, here we can explicitly mention new namespace details, like what is that, nsb, right? What is this? Okay, so yeah, now it's fine. So new namespace is created. We can check the status. What we can do is we can simply nsb. Now you can see new pod is created in namespace nsb. It's not in the default namespace. If you get the list of nodes in default namespace, you can only see client pod. Okay, so now coming to the architecture, pods and then namespace, and inside we creating another port for the communication. Okay, so next we can create a network policy. For that I'm going to the blog. I'm just take the code. I'm creating a new file, ns okay, ns network policy, right? np is fine. Okay, next we can create the resource by using apply command. np, okay, here we need to mention the so coming to the network policy, what we are doing is we are attaching this network policy to uh, this port with we required IP. Here we need to mention which what is the destination IP from this port, like to which address we need to communicate. So here what we are going to do is we are giving this port IP. Okay, and then port is 80 because we need to access through we need to access the HTTP, uh, like basically we need to access the website content. Okay, so I'm just collecting the IP. For that, um okay, so overwide, if you and if you mention overwide, it will provide the IP of the port. Okay, actually I'm facing some network issue, that's why it's very slow. So yeah, this is the IP of the port. Okay, next we can provide the IP in the network policy YAML file. Okay, 1 second. Okay, okay. 32 means I am only allowing this IP. If if you want incoming, so coming to the data center, it contains a lot of IPs, right? So that time you can use based on your shader block. Okay, now it's fine. We can apply. Network policy is created now. Okay, we can check the status. kubectl uh, describe network policy. This is our network policy. Okay, then we can see the network policy details, like what is the network policy name, and then when it is created, and this is located in default namespace. Coming to the diagram, we are attaching the port who's sitting in the default namespace. That's why we created in the default namespace, inside the default namespace. Then here you can see port selector. This network policy is applied to port who has the app client label. Okay, then not affecting ingress, like incoming, using the network policy we can control the ingress also, but in this case we are controlling egress. So that's why it's only this network policy is only controlling egress. What is the two port? It's 80. Okay, then what about the two IP? It's this is IP, so this is a port IP. So the network policy is ready now, like the port can communicate with this port, and then after that we can create another namespace and we can create a new port inside the new namespace, and then we'll try to access the port from the namespace, default namespace. Okay, so I'm going to access the uh, you know the client, the first port, that is a client port, right? So I'm accessing the client port. Okay, now I'm inside the now I'm inside this port. Then I'm trying to communicate to this port. So already we have that IP. So this is that IP. We can try to duplicate. Okay, duplicate means we are accessing. Here you can see HTTP. That means we already opened only 80 port. Okay, that's why we will get the access. Okay, so we'll try that. We will get. You can see we can access the uh, this port. We can access this port with the 80 port. We tried HTTP. That means 80 port. So the communication is there. So next what we can do is we can create another port in namespace C. Okay. For that I'm just exiting from this port and then creating create nsc. Okay, so after that we can create a new port inside the namespace nsc. Okay, nsc, the port is created. We can check the status. Oh, why it will provide the ip. Okay, now you can see there is a one port is running, so we'll try to access it from the client port. Okay, so we'll see the status. For that I'm logging to client port and then try to access. Say it's not working, right? So because of this port already has the network policy, that network policy is only allowing uh, the port which is sitting in the NSB, not NSC. Okay, so that is the case, because in the network policy we mentioned in the network policy level we mentioned the IP of a port sitting in the namespace V. Okay, so this is the things. Maybe we can maybe for the testing purpose we can, what we can do is we can just delete the network policy and we can check the behavior. Okay, ctl. Okay, policy. Okay, policy. Okay, we are deleting this network policy. We see what is the behavior. Okay, so network policy is deleted. So we'll check the status now for the behavior. You can log into the client node port, sorry, port. So one second, yeah. Now we are in the client port. Okay, actually I'm facing some network issue, that's why it's taking time. Okay, then we'll try to get the result of wget. So this is a port which is sitting in the namespace C. So we'll try to access. So here you can see now it's getting. Previously it's not getting because of the network policy. We deleted the network policy and now it's working. So now hope you get the idea how the network policy is working in perspective of outbound or net egress perspective, and with a particular IP and particular port. Okay, so yeah, that's it for today's video.